Hi, What the Flick? Tim, Alonso. We're here to review Outcast. This is Season 1, Episode 5, The Road Before Us.
Yes, in which we get further into the notion of the fact that the Reverend's exorcisms were bunk.
A history of failure.
That he was easily duped into thinking that demons had been cast out when, in fact, they had not. And so there's all these ticking time bombs walking around. One of whom is Allison, who is still raising their child. So that's super scary.
Right. So this episode, a lot of people go to check up on other people.
That's true, yes.
That's the theme of the episode. So Anderson and Kyle start by camping outside of Kyle's ex-wife's house to see if they can gauge whether or not she's still possessed from across the street. Unsuccessfully. Kyle and Allison meet a few more times in the episode to varying degrees of success.
Yes, but this is the most contact they've had up till now, obviously. He's been very much trying to keep his distance, but now... You know,
a restraining order.
Restraining order, thank you. Restraining order be damned is like, nah, I gotta, and that poor kid.
Yeah.
That poor kid. Whatever happens, that poor kid's gonna need a lot of therapy because she's now basically repeating the Kyle process of hiding in the closet from mommy. So
stop it! A little dramatic, but it gets the point across.
All right, so then so the day after the stalking / camping, I like the way you put it. That's very nice. Then they go check out a couple of the Reverend's former clients. One of whom first is the guy with the daughter, right?
Yes. And it turns out she is now a runaway, homeless in Charleston,
living on the streets.
Yes.
The mean streets of Charleston, West Virginia. And then they go to a pet store where is it the wife?
No, him.
He, okay.
Yeah, Brian.
Right, where Brian was possessed and
sweaty.
Yeah, you just know that whole place smells like kitty litter and cigarettes.
So, yeah, Anderson's 0 for however many he did, it seems.
Yeah.
It's not very successful with these, which I'm sure must be tough on him, although we haven't really delved into that storyline yet.
Not so much.
We've just sort of flirted with his own insecurity on the subject.
Right.
Kyle doesn't seem very delicate.
No. Yeah, he's definitely cutting right to the point. And then we get the very uncomfortable meeting between Sydney and Mildred. You don't see a lot of Mildreds anymore. Which promises a lot of things that, like, what is it, the merge?
The merge. She's not going to survive till the merge.
We don't know what the merge is yet, but obviously it's going to be a big deal. Do we know what's going on with the mouths?
No, but it clearly doesn't work in between them.
Yeah, like if you're already filled up.
Now we've officially learned it's not just one entity.
Ah, okay.
Because
right.
Mildred doesn't recognize Sydney immediately, and if they were like hive mind all one demon thing, there wouldn't be a thing. So it's a collective of.
So basically, where the demons are taking over the earth, one person at a time.
Sure. To how much success we don't know yet, but it seems.
Right, and clearly the merge sounds foreboding. If we're talking about a bunch of disparate entities as well. So yeah, that was unsettling. And then they do track down Sherry, the runaway daughter, and she is indeed fully in the throes and has more to reveal about Kyle the Outcast.
So now we know about the merge, and now Kyle knows about the merge.
Yeah. And he plays a role in it that we're still vague about.
But that's okay.
Yes.
We're world building.
Totally.
Intrigue.
Yes. There's a definite trail of breadcrumbs going on this show, and I feel confident that it's leading somewhere. So, again, it helps when you haven't read the comic book these shows are based on. Everything's a surprise. But yeah, I like how this show really maintains mood, and there's this always sort of kind of just underlying unease about things. People always seem to be either in awkward situations or physically uncomfortable or places they don't want to be. Like there's never a sense of, you don't get to exhale in this show.
Yeah.
It's just like there's always something there to make you tense and make you uncomfortable, and I think that works really well for horror and to sort of just kind of keep the audience clenched.
It helps that Kyle doesn't seem to have any social ability to like be delicate or subtle in these investigations that he's conducting.
Right.
Does she still look possessed, your daughter who you haven't seen yet? can I come up behind you and grab you by the neck? It's just like, oh, we're driving the plot forward, man. We gotta
Can I use my horrible healing touch on you? Yeah.
I'm surprised his wife didn't open the door and just sock her right in the face.
Exactly. Let's just cut to the chase. Well, but I guess one thing now that I was maybe fuzzy on, but now that I know for sure, is that Allison also believes the standard narrative that like Kyle somehow abused their daughter. And is not aware that she did it herself.
She had her doubts for sure right away.
Uh-huh.
She still has them, but now she's sort of accepted it because she doesn't remember anything from that period.
Right. Yeah. She can't. She's had to wrap her mind around the fact that this guy was capable of this thing when in fact he wasn't and didn't. But yeah. So no one has disabused her of this notion, basically.
Him especially, where he had every opportunity to in the last scene of the episode.
Right. Which
I don't get that. If you don't get that, I don't get that either.
I mean, I get it in that it sounds excusey. You know what I mean? Like it's like when the deadbeat dad shows up and tells you that, oh no, really, it was all your fault. You know, that's kind of a hard sell. You have to really work up to that, or have some backup evidence or something.
So what is he waiting for? He's learned that she's not possessed because he touched her. And
right.
Went fine. And...
Wait, no.
They kissed. There was a kiss, and he felt extremely relieved that she was safe and that their daughter was safe.
Okay, because it seems like there's a lot of cutaways to her where she's giving these sort of significant glances. I kept getting the impression that she is possessed.
Possibility. But
okay.
She wasn't really in pain like all of the others were.
That's true. Okay, you're right. Yeah, from the physical contact with him. So maybe this one is... If they're clever enough to make the Reverend think that they've been fixed, maybe they're also clever enough to hide from Kyle, or they're figuring that out as Kyle makes himself more visible.
It's a possibility.
As the Outcast gets out there. Because, yeah, my money is still on she's possessed.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's in a super awkward situation. He's sort of legally forbidden, and, everybody thinks he did this terrible thing, and, he doesn't want to mess up the kid's life any further. So
it's just that trope of denying that golden opportunity to solve all your problems.
Well,
here is your wife on your doorstep begging you for answers. You have most of the answers, and you still won't do it to save your own reputation and get your own marriage. Why, Kyle? Why?
I don't know. No, I'll tell you. No, that's a thing that bugs me a lot. I think Roger Ebert would call that like the 5-minute conversation that would end the movie.
Yeah.
I understand why they're not having that conversation. I think there are actual impediments that keep Kyle from coming forth with all that. Because also, we know a lot of things where we believe what he's saying. If you're told that cold, it sounds ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
So, until the wife meets Sydney or sees some of the shit. Exactly. Yeah. Show her some black goop. Then you have that conversation. So I buy it. I don't think it's just sort of like a stalling tactic on the behalf of the writers.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's what we got. It
is what it is. But I think there's a reason for why they're doing it that way.
The only other thing covered in this episode is Chief Giles' mini investigation of his friend Ogden.
Oh, the fire chief. Yes.
Which delivers, a little menace, but no real fruit of an investigation.
Yeah, and it's, obviously he knows some things and is being very kind of weirdly awkward about it. And
testing his boundaries, seeing how coy he can be, seeing if Ogden gives anything away.
Right, yeah. I mean, they're both sort of doing this dance around each other, and Ogden clearly knows something is up. Sorry, I'm just pulling out my notes from this episode to see if there's anything that I'd forgotten to mention. But yeah, no, I wrote Police Chief Columbo. Because he was totally doing that. We're talking, we're not talking, I'm asking, I'm not asking kind of thing, So yeah, that whole scene in the fire station, and then later on with the
chainsaw.
The chainsaw. I know, it's like, wow, okay, we're gonna do that then.
What's not apparent to me is whether or not the police chief knows about demonic possession, or he just thinks his friend is up to no good.
I think at this point he's looking at this as a straight up crime.
Okay.
Bodies hanging in the trees, nailed in the trees or not.
Fingernails in trailers. And
yeah,
watches.
Yeah.
And
I think
up evidence.
it could just be straight up like kidnapping or something bizarre like that. So yeah.
And truth be told, we don't know that anything is up with Ogden other than one barking dog, which we've all inferred to be.
Oh, that's true.
A sense of demonic in possession.
True. Yeah. I mean, Again,
he could just be a bad dude, just like Megan's rapist is just a bad dude.
That's true. Not everyone is possessed of the devil, but again, he like Allison gets a lot of significant side eye when no one's looking. this show definitely indulges in the hug where something else is happening.
Yeah.
You know, that's become such a movie and TV trope now, where the two people hug and the camera goes on the face of one person who's like, I'm not really hugging you. You know, that's like, okay, yes, we get it. There's two things going on here, you know.
There was a scene in the beginning, towards the beginning of the episode, where Allison, after she puts the daughter to sleep, she goes to brush her teeth, and the look on her face.
Oh yeah, the zombie brushing.
It's like the director was like, okay, you don't know why brushing teeth is important because you're just possessing this body, but do it anyway.
Yeah, it's a purely mechanical act. Yeah, so there's a lot of signposts there for Allison not being all there.
Right.
So, all right, yeah, this just keeps getting creepier. So we'll be back next time. Thanks.